a child, bro. It's like a little kid.
Just be pissing me off. Why we got to count down 15 times?
You said 380 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There's just one of them types of songs that I was listening to the last couple of days. The original.
Why is that?
I just had to cleanse my ears. I feel like I had been listening to too much rap, and it was just, you know, you get like you hit the wall. I just couldn't listen to no more rap, bro. I had to switch it
You were
up.
just down bad.
No.
That's all I wanted you to tell the people.
Not at all. I would just wanted to listen to something other than rap.
Can I say her name now or no?
No.
You know she gonna watch still.
I know. Hi.
Wow.
What? She's a fan. I mean, subscribe.
Anyway.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Anyway. I don't want no smoke.
Welcome
man.
to 4 Panthers fans only. If you're here from Move to Change, welcome. This is the full podcast. These are the fellas that I promised y'all would be here this weekend. Maybe we'll get 2 episodes in. Who knows?
You can get addicted
Depends
to
on how
If it's
much I
hot,
like
I
the
don't
video.
know. Hey, if it's hot, I don't know. I can't tell. My ears are untrained at the time.
like raising
They're seeing a lot of garbage football, but I'm going to let them tell y'all because y'all think I sensationalized everything, so I'm going to
So
chill.
when we found that we could not make sense,
Is Bryce that, yes or no?
well, you said that
Just answer yes or no quick.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
but I'll admit
We're going to talk about it.
that it was over.
Was you cheesing when he signed your jersey? Yes or no?
Yes.
And was you cheesing an hour or
You
2
didn't
hours
have to
after?
cut me off. Make out like it
That's
never
hot.
I swear, golly.
My bad, man. Everybody just breathe and
I want
relax.
to be able to hear at camp tomorrow too.
It ain't nothing for you to hear.
Maybe I'll hear some past stuff if they put them on.
Hey, I thought this song had more upness to it.
You're listening to the wrong one.
Well, why didn't you tell me that before? Ain't
I
that
thought
your
you did
job?
that. I thought you did it on purpose.
Ain't it your job to tell me when I make mistakes like that?
Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you you made a mistake on a song that I didn't even know you was about to play.
Don't worry
Because
about it.
what happens?
It's
What
better.
happened?
It's more like it.
When I asked him what song we was about to come into, what did he say? Don't worry about it. So cool.
Yeah, don't.
It's my idol.
The Bible says you shouldn't have idols. You know that?
Who's yours?
I don't have one. I have none. actually.
Me and you just built a little different. I know.
Welcome to 4 Panthers fans only. Oh, I thought you put the TMJ jersey on. I was about to talk junk, but I'm going to chill.
He made a few good catches today.
I told you he's receiver number 4 right now.
Been entertaining this
It goes Deontay,
only nigga to fuck you this way.
John,
Really be, but you know when I blow that,
Thielen,
you gon' circle back.
TMJ, and everybody else.
That ass now. Came back from Atlanta, girl, you know we.
You tell me what you saw.
You in LA with your nigga,
Y'all-
man.
y'all-
You were lying to the people. If we're lying,
No, I didn't say we're lying. Y'all just don't want me to say what I gotta say about him because I get slandered.
Next vacation, hate, love, care, get this thing dry.
I think you should say it. Man.
Yeah, we're about to talk about it for sure.
Because when he walked up, what I do?
Something very weird.
Wow.
Something very
How?
weird, to be honest, dude.
How?
Just the way you acted was weird.
I don't
It was
understand
strange.
how your number one receiver almost bobbled a pass from you that was like 2 feet away. Or did you not peep that when you threw him the ball?
I peeped it. I just hope that
Yeah.
y'all didn't.
Yeah, I
'Cause
peeped
I
it.
knew you wanted to come on here and say something about
That's the
him.
first
Hey,
thing Tavian was saying.
don't-
Look at it. He almost bobbled it. Look
Yeah,
at
I
it.
mean, I don't think he really knew I was going to throw it because I really could have just reached. But
And don't he get paid how much to catch footballs? And
I
what'd
don't
you
know.
throw him?
Not enough.
What'd you throw him?
He doesn't get paid enough.
What did you throw him?
Speaking of that, we're going to start a giveaway. After our content manager is in the building today. When are we starting the giveaway? In like a week. We got an autographed football, Dave Canales, Bryce Young, Xavier Leggett, Deontay Johnson. Who else?
Who else?
Shoot,
know,
Chop.
South Smith Wade. Yeah, I don't know what possessed Dylan to get Shaw Smith Wade on a ball with them type names on it. But hey, I digress, bro. I digress. You said what? Fair enough. That's a fair point. Welcome. If you don't already, like, comment, subscribe. Yes, I know the intro has been long. Just relax. We haven't been together in like 2 weeks. So Subscribe. Turn the bell notification on. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, all of that. Share with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you don't already, follow us on socials. On Instagram, Afro Panthers Fans Only. TikTok at the same handle. X at FPFO_podcast. That's really what y'all need to follow first after y'all subscribe, because we're giving y'all updates every single day at training camp. Videos coming with it, highlights, lowlights, play-by-play, etc. Y'all are getting everything y'all need if you're not able to be at camp. So go follow that right now at FPFO_podcast. If you're listening on DSPs, thank you again for being here. You can find us on all DSPs, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, etc. You can find us Afro Panthers Fans Only.
We're on the march to 1,000, baby. On the march to 1,000.
On the march to 1,000 for sure. On the march to 1,000 for sure. Gentlemen, how are y'all feeling? Welcome to training camp. Been a while. I'm glad y'all could finally join me. It's about time, but you know, I digress. Or you just don't have anything to say?
I mean, not in response to that, but I mean, I feel good. I'm tired though. Tired. Long drive. Heat beat on me today. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it did. But I enjoyed it. Always nice to see some football. Always nice to be back in action. Excited for the season. I don't know how excited I am about my team right now, but I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to watch some football again. Probably lose a lot of money. Probably lose a lot of sleep. Probably got to up the sessions with my therapist. But, I mean, overall, it's been a good day.
How about yourself? We're definitely going to dive deep into what you just said for sure, because today, honestly, just to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and then I'll come directly to you, I think today probably was the worst practice I've seen. Today was worse from an energy standpoint, I mean, they only went uppers, so I won't complain about the hitting because
not even real uppers. Not even
real uppers. More like shells.
Yeah.
They had the shells on today. Just from a energy standpoint, from an activity standpoint, today was very, 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 very dead. Very dead. So, like I said, we'll get into it a little bit more. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I had to sleep on the street last night, courtesy of your co-host over there. Don't say shit. Let me get my shit off.
Yeah, go ahead. So
two cuss words. But, you know,
my fault.
We just living in Tavia's world.
I had
so
to sleep
worry.
on. Yeah, well, you know that's what happens when I didn't get an adequate amount of sleep last night. My brain's not fully functioning right now, all because I got locked out of my house, somehow, some way. But
because you wanted to be safe. I get it. I get it.
Anyway, so it's been a long drive. I'm very tired. Very
Long
irritable.
drive.
And then I had to go out there and stomach some. Why do I keep getting cut off? I don't understand. What's going on?
Because like a lot of the things you're saying are just misleading.
Just
misleading.
lies. like not even misleading lies.
What, long ride? I mean, what?
Long ride. That's
Either
what
way, either or.
And then say pause after, but keep going.
That's why I said long drive, but cool. To just avoid the situation altogether and avoid the sketch allegations. But thank you for walking me into them. So,
you're welcome.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks, but it's great to be back. Great to see some football, even though it was very subpar and mediocre football today. Do think there was some bright spots, but we'll get into that. But I'm feeling all right.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Can I let me address a couple things he said?
Okay, have at it.
All right, so y'all want to hear a little story time? Yeah, stay for story time before we get into the content.
Yeah, let me get my wits about me. Go ahead and get yours.
Cool. So, yes, he did get locked out of the house last night. Did he have to sleep on the street? No. So what happened was I had a great day at work, by the way, yesterday. Phenomenal day. We did Olympics at work, and I mean, I was just walking around with so many medals. It was crazy.
Why do you keep looking at me when you say?
I'm just saying.
What do you want me to do?
But anyway, so
can we sidebar to that? Isn't it crazy how he works at a financial institute and was doing?
Y'all don't do no work.
Wait, was doing Olympics on the day that the market lost $2.9 trillion. but
cool. But cool. These are the people that our money is with. They out here playing the fucking Olympics. Excuse my language, but that's what we doing. Cool. Continue.
Yeah. So blame me because y'all money's dropped. Like, yeah. Okay. Cool. But either way, so got home. Had a few drinks. Had a few drinks, so I was faded early, and I already knew I was going to bed early anyway, just because I had to get up at 5:30 to make it down here. So, yeah, we were on the game, right? And so got out the game. I was about ready to go to bed. I walked in there. I told Tavian, like, hey.
No, you didn't tell Tavian nothing.
Well, what I thought I was telling Tavian, I was like, hey, we leaving at 6. I didn't hear no response. I'm like, okay, he must already be asleep. I see my doors unlocked. So I'm like, well, let me lock up. Let me be safe. I want to rest my head at night, not having nobody breaking in my crib. So lock the doors. Turns out I wake up in the morning to 44 missed calls, and apparently he got locked out the house. And reason being is, like, we got a deadbolt lock, but they don't give us the key to that for whatever reason. But either way,
that's the whole point of the deadbolt, so they can't get in.
So you never had a house where you had a regular lock and a deadbolt, and you have the key to both?
I mean, I have personally never had a house like that, but I've seen them.
Well, okay, cool. Those do exist. So, yeah, so that was the story. But he still slept in his own bed. So, yeah. I mean, I don't understand.
And ultimately, that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Bro, can I just tell you, like, 45 minutes before he, like, called you an additional 20 times, I already told him what to do. I said, call Carter or go back to your crib, to your mom's crib. Simple.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, bro, all you got to do is just go get some sleep, wake up at 5:30, go back to the crib, pack your stuff up. Y'all going to be there OD early, which y'all were. Y'all got there an hour before gates even open. And I already gave him the solution. And it got to be Tavian's way, and Tavian got to be mad. And he talking about, bro, I don't even know if I'm going. I don't even know. Okay, cool. If you don't go, then I get it. But that would be on you.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was very late. I had one thing on my mind. I wanted to shower. I wanted to pack my bag and get ready for camp. Lo and behold, I go unlock my door, and I try to push it in, and the shit don't budge. And I said, maybe I unlocked it wrong. So I try to unlock it again, push again, door don't budge. Start beating on it. Nothing. Walk outside to find a rock to throw out the window. Ain't no rocks at the complex. There's nothing for me to throw. So now I'm shit out of luck, sitting outside thinking I'm going to have to sleep in my car. Now he better be fortunate that we still own some property in the area where I could go lay my head down.
So if you don't mind me asking, what would you have done if that wasn't the case?
Crashed.
How would he have did that if I'm in the house?
And he can't get in.
And he can't get in.
I would have just been waiting. And you had to come downstairs eventually.
And I got a strap.
Just been waiting.
And he doesn't. So cool. So cool.
I wouldn't have showed up to training camp because I'd have been in jail. He wouldn't have showed up to training camp because he
would
might have been in the box.
I'll tell you how this would have happened. Right?
He would have been in the dirt.
When he was walking across the parking lot to go put his stuff in his car, all you would have seen was headlights flying in his direction. That's all it would have been.
Well, it seems like energy was not revived from camp today.
But I won't lie to y'all. I did have a phenomenal night's sleep, and I feel a lot better.
See,
yeah,
just lying.
Yeah, but that's how people create false narratives when they get on a platform, which is something that I learned. But
it's all for the clicks, man. I tell y'all these stories to bring y'all a part of our life and give you a little bit of comic relief before we drop the depressing news on you that the Carolina Panthers are a 6-win football team this year.
Yes, I put that on Twitter. I have 6 wins as our floor. I have 9 wins as our ceiling, but we'll go into more details. Just to give you guys just some quick news, Andy Dalton was officially diagnosed with a quad injury. According to Dave Canales, he will be out for a couple weeks. I think that means that he will be done for camp. They said that they wanted to bring in another veteran quarterback to kind of fill that role. Today, Jake Plummer took a lot of snaps, and to be quite frank, I don't need to see that too much throughout the preseason. We need to bring in a quarterback very, very soon. Very, very soon. Steven Sullivan was placed on IR. Unfortunate for him, same situation as last year. Was having a solid camp up until this point. Was getting reps ahead of Jatavion Sanders. Then with Tommy Tremble having that hamstring injury that has shut him down already. Steven Sullivan, to me, he's one of my underrated players that I like watching play a lot. Unfortunately, again, he's been placed on IR. Same situation as last season. So definitely going to be keeping an eye out on him with our tight end room being the way it is, with it being already 5 or 6 deep with a couple of injuries. I'm not sure how that'll play out. It'll be interesting. Jonathan Brooks today got a lot more work. He was a lot more active than we've seen during the first week of camp. He was the second player on the field, I believe, right behind Bryce Young. Immediately got on the field, started working with the training staff, did a little bit of running with a weighted sled today. During individual drills when the running backs were working with quarterbacks, he was doing some shadow reps and things of that nature. However, based on a report that we saw probably about an hour before we started recording, he allegedly will not be back as a full participant until about 3 to 5 weeks into the regular season. So not the best news there. We started camp relatively clean. Obviously, we knew when we drafted Jonathan Brooks, we were aware that it was a risk coming off of a torn ACL. Terrence was extremely vocal about the draft pick directly after it happened. So we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. Derek McClendon, if I'm saying his name correctly, he was injured during punt team today. Not sure if we got an official report for that. If we did, then y'all probably should just go on Twitter and search it because I don't have an official one at this very time. And kind of the big news of the day, I guess you could say, is the Carolina Panthers signed cornerback Anthony Brown. Obviously, we have a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Calm down.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We have a Dallas Cowboys fan on the podcast, so he'll be able to give us a little bit of insight. Even though it's a tad bit biased, I'll go ahead and warn you guys on that front. But
I mean, is there something biased about watching somebody give up 300 yards in a game and costing your team the game?
No, not at all. Is that where y'all want to start?
Yeah, I mean, since we're here now.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about Anthony Brown. My
My
dad loves him. I told him I was driving to the Airbnb from camp. We went, grabbed some lunch with Dunk afterwards. Had a nice burger, some nice wings, just relax. No
My stomach
alcohol
was in
except for
shambles
one. Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time.
I mean,
I
when
wasn't
came
feeling the
in,
best.
I'm glad that I came in when I did because I didn't need to smell the fumes because y'all were both of y'all just down bad as can be. But
Club sales will do that to you.
yeah, I don't even need to know what those are.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you might wanna
told my
learn.
pops that we signed Anthony Brown. He was excited when Tavian heard the news. He started laughing. So I want to know why you started laughing. What is? I mean, because I feel like he's serviceable. I don't think he's a game changer. We know there's a difference between game changers and game managers. I believe he's a game manager. I think he's serviceable. And to be quite frank, with the way this secondary has looked throughout training camp, to me, up to this point, I mean, you can get all the help you need to get all the help you can get because it's trouble.
Anthony Brown was a guy who the Cowboys drafted. I want to say it was like in the 6th round. He was one of our 6th round draft picks, cornerback from a smaller school. When he first kind of popped up onto the scene, nobody really knew what to or like expected much of him. And he would make some splash plays, occasionally in his early years in Dallas, and seemed like he was going to be a serviceable piece for the Cowboys secondary. But as years, would go on and games would reveal that Anthony Brown had a lot of flaws in his game. He got beat a lot. And when he got beat, he was very handsy. There was numerous very critical pass interference calls on Anthony Brown. I mean, I believe it was two or 3 years ago on a Thanksgiving Day when Anthony Brown just got beat like a drum, and it seemed like he was the only person in the secondary that he was the only person that they would throw at. It was so bad. They would sniff out weaknesses, and that that carried on throughout the remainder of the season where Anthony Brown just got picked on. He was slow. He was handsy. He started becoming a little bit more injury prone on the back end of his time in Dallas. And to be quite frank, once he was gone, it was a good riddance moment for me because I was sick of seeing him. I was sick of talking to people about Anthony Brown. I think he's one of the worst cornerbacks that I've ever witnessed with my own 2 eyes. And I don't even know who he played for last season.
San Francisco.
Didn't get much burnout there.
At all.
For a fact. And I think the year before that, he might have flirted with Cincinnati or something, if I'm not mistaken. But he's horrible. He's horrible. And if you're in a situation in which you're signing him and you have optimism that he's going to make your team better, that just speaks to the hopeless situation that the secondary room, the hopeless state of the secondary room for the Carolina Panthers at this moment, because this is something that we screamed all off season, especially with the Jonathan Brooks pick. You need to go draft a cornerback. DB was like number 1 on our list of like requirements for the Panthers because that room, only having J.C. Horn as the solidified, tried and true professional who's actually worth something, him being the only one on the roster was a massive red flag, especially with the fact that he can't stay healthy. And then you got a bunch of other guys who just really respectfully aren't worth much when it comes to like the caliber of NFL DB. And
Troy Hill has looked pretty good.
Aren't worth much when it comes to the caliber of NFL DBs. And it's just all the more reason why it was just a dumb pick. The Jonathan Brooks pick was dumb. He's not going to be available till week 3 or 5, according to all reports now. The running back room looked fine today, what I saw, especially when you improve the offensive line. I don't think running back was as big of a need as DB. And now you're stuck with Anthony Brown. So good luck.
You have anything?
I mean,
I have a lot. But
I was just going to say, honestly, I didn't even, and this could, attest to the fact that he might not be that good because I didn't even know was he out there today?
No.
Oh, I was about to
he was
say,
not out here today.
because if he was out there today, I mean, I definitely didn't notice him, but I think the cornerback room just looks suspect in general, and JC didn't even play today.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's funny that you guys got that vibe already because today was just, like I mentioned at the start of the podcast, today just was a dead day. No one-on-ones, limited team reps, did a lot of inside run drills. Today was just a dead day overall. So the fact that, y'all can kind of already see that the secondary is going to be a problem is kind of nerve-wracking to me. I still feel as though the Carolina Panthers made the right decision to go get Jonathan Brooks. I do. Because, you have Rashad Penny, he retired. You go get Dylan Johnson. Okay, cool. We saw what Miles Sanders put on tape last year. So you can't go into the season feeling like he's a competent running back too. Honestly. And then you're relying on Chuba Hubbard with all due respect. It's kind of like one of those guys, like you mentioned, that, he's serviceable on the NFL level, but he's not a game changer. So that's why I still feel okay with the Jonathan Brooks pick. And I still feel like the Carolina Panthers can do what's necessary to go get Stephon Gilmore. I don't understand I don't really know what the confusion is. Maybe it's a situation where Stephon Gilmore doesn't want to go through training camp. I'm hoping that's what it is, and I'm hoping that the Anthony Brown move was just to add depth, because that is a problem. I've spoken about that multiple times on Move the Chains. The lack of depth in the secondary room is definitely alarming, specifically at cornerback. But I still think the Carolina Panthers can do what it takes to bring Stephon Gilmore in the building, and I still think it will happen. I do. So I'm really not overreacting to the move because, to be quite frank, I'm not 100% sure Anthony Brown is going to be getting starting reps. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Dane Jackson has looked solid enough to be a cornerback too. We know what J.C. Horn offers. And Troy Hill, I mentioned again on Move the Chains about 2 or 3 practices ago, that he's going to be a big part of our defense and what we do. And in that nickel position, he's fine. I can live with it. So really not overreacting to the news. We got to see how it's going to play out. The secondary is suspect, but we knew coming into the season that's what time it was. We did.
Yeah. All I will say, I'm going to feel the same way until I see Jonathan Brooks suit up, until I see him actually produce if he can, just to see the way he's going to be used in our system and just to see like what he's going to do for us. Because, I've been very vocal about this. Like, I just don't personally think you go do that, draft Jonathan Brooks, and then settle with Shaw Smith-Wade. Like, it's just not something that it doesn't make sense to me. And another thing I would say, the media really has y'all gassed up. I will say that. If you're a sports fan, if you're a Panthers fan, not even necessarily a Panthers fan, but any kind of football fan or sports fan, I will encourage you to go to training camp, like watch your team's practices, like really, really go see for yourself. Because if you were to just look at all of the stuff that Panthers media post, some things that we might post, like a lot of the highlight plays, it's not what it's gassed up to be. I've seen a lot more like bullshit play today than like highlight plays that they will make it seem. I will say that.
I mentioned that last week. And that's why you guys need to be subscribed to the G2S network every single day. It's not going to be them every single day, but I'm coming every single day and telling y'all exactly what's going on. Do not be misguided by what is being put out by any of these journalists that have credentials with the Carolina Panthers. Don't be misguided by what's going on with the Carolina Panthers media team. That's what happened with us last year as a fan base. Do not be misguided. I'm telling y'all right now, the floor is 6 and the ceiling, the absolute best you can even imagine to do is 9. And that is stretching it. Really, it's probably more so like 8. And the ceiling or the floor is more like 4 or 5. It is. That's just reality. Because there's a lot of guys that really aren't stepping up the way that I thought they should. And they were going to.
Not only are they not stepping up, but like just staying in the DB room. You just said that your first round pick that you traded up to get was number 5. Like,
that's a problem. What did you guys see?
But
what did you guys see from that?
But
go ahead.
You said that. So in that situation, you passed up on a Cooper DeJean because he was still like you passed up on these other top corners that were still around to get.
How's he a top corner? We haven't seen what he's able to do.
I'm just saying based off the draft projections.
At all in training camp.
Have you been looking at Eagles training camp news?
I mean,
realistically, honestly,
it pops up. I know who has been going crazy. I know Malik Neighbors has been going fed. I know Jaden Daniels is out in Washington. He looks solid.
I mean, those are like the top 6 picks of the draft.
Hey, well, I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying there's top cornerbacks that were still on the board at the time that you picked Xavier Legette for a quote unquote 5th receiver. There was top cornerbacks on the board when you picked a 2nd string running back who might not be healthy until week 5. And you have a decimated cornerback room that leaves you signing Anthony Brown. Like, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I don't necessarily disagree, but I think that off of that.
Oh, sorry. And then you pass up on a Kalen Carson, a guy that has top round talent, slides back in the draft.
It's a kid from Wake Forest.
Yeah, this was somebody that Panthers Nation was very high on.
We did.
I would say me. I
started
it. Mock draft.
Yeah.
You and who were we on? We were with 2 fans in the stands that day.
Yeah.
When you started talking about him, okay.
For
film on him,
Shaw Smith Wade, who's not even on the field right now because he's hurt. Like that's 3
no,
picks.
he's been active. Shaw Smith Wade has been active.
No, he played. But regardless, that's 3 picks that you kind of botched that could have improved your DB room. That's a problem.
What did you guys? What were y'all main take? Give me one takeaway, one good takeaway.
Wide receivers
that y'all
were running wide open. There was so many wide open receivers today.
So would you say weapons are no longer a problem right now for Carolina, or do you think it's more reflective of the defensive back room? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that weapons are a problem for the Carolina Panthers.
Yes to both. I think the weapons are greatly improved, but I think the reason that they're running as wide open as they're running is because the DB room is terrible.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then also, because there was a lot of times where I seen receivers get open, but the inability for whichever quarterback it was, Jake Plummer or Bryce, to have like more accurate throws was because the offensive line, they scared me a little bit today. And I know they weren't in full pads, but like there were some plays there where it's like that can't happen. Like that catch that everybody's gonna see from Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Like in the game, like we sat here and debated, was it a sack? Was it not a sack? Bryce did a good job in stepping up in the pocket, but I feel like that defender that was coming at him, like he would have made more of an aggressive attempt to get the sack if like they actually had pads on, and that's a problem.
It wasn't his quarterback.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Stretched.
That's a
on
problem.
That play, Bryce is stretched. Whether it's a sack or not, the throw is affected, and Bryce is stretched.
And the snap was low.
And regardless of what people say about
Jack Plummer, excuse me, but I mean, I feel like he doesn't even deserve to have his name correct. But
and regardless about what people have been saying about Ick and his progression, whoop.
Don't be disrespectful.
Jadeveon Clowney beat him like a drum today.
But he's
thoroughly.
That's Camp MVP right now. Jadeveon has been beating everybody like a drum. It's not just Ick. Because he go over there to Timo's side, too.
Yeah, I was about because the pressure came from Timo's side.
Yeah, the pressure came from Timo's side.
But I saw a lot. I would look down for a second, and I would look up, and Ick was getting beat like a drum.
I mean,
don't overreact.
Practice just didn't look good at all today. There was no energy, not even from Dave Canales. Now, Dave Canales, like when he and I'm not trying to talk down on Dave Canales or this or that, but I would say the image that he portrayed when he first came in, I thought he was going to be a very high level, high energy guy, especially from the blueprint. But I didn't see it today. There was no energy from nobody.
A lot of walking.
Yeah, a lot of walking. I seen X walking. I seen ISM walking. Like, I mean, it's just no urgency. It was a very mediocre, below mediocre practice. Like, that's not what you want to give your fans. Like, and that doesn't leave a good taste in our mouths. We're out there watching, and you know that we're technically rebuilding. Like, give us something to be happy about. Give us something to take home, and we don't have to, like, criticize all the time. Like, there were some good things out there. You can point and pick out the good things, but the bad definitely outweighed the good today.
Yeah, today to me, I mean, I would second everything you guys are saying. Like I started the podcast off, today was definitely by far probably the worst practice that I've seen. I saw a lot of missed throws. I saw a lot of lost reps on both sides that weren't necessarily good wins for the opposing side of the football. Xavier Leggett, I mean, I know that y'all probably think I'm gassing. I've been saying it on Move the Chains. Xavier Leggett really has had one good day. One good day out of 7. Now, we know what Jonathan Mingo has looked like this offseason, this training camp specifically. So I wouldn't necessarily say completely turn your back on XL or to overreact to it. But I'm just telling you, like Tavian mentioned, all of the cornerbacks that we passed up on, us making the move to go up to the first round, to go get Xavier Leggett, right now it's not looking like that. Again, in team practice today, or team period today, had a pass across the middle. It hit his hands. Defender made a great play. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these catches and a lot of these drops that I'm seeing from XL, these as a first-round pick, we need to be having them catches. And unfortunately, we're a weekend. It's training camp day 7. I need to see some improvement. Unfortunately, I have not seen it. I haven't. XL has had one good day. He's had one good day. Every other day, he's been extremely MIA or he's been below mediocre.
And I think that's important to, like, frame with the fact that when we were doing our pre-draft mock drafts, X was always available late second, third, sometimes even the fourth. And it wasn't until right before the draft where he kind of shot up everybody's draft board for one reason or the other, which is like, this is a guy who realistically wasn't a first-round talent. Truthfully, was not a first-round talent for majority of the entire scouting process and just became a first-round talent the last week. And that's what you're seeing. But you have a guy now who has first-round expectations and might, Panthers fans, brace yourselves, might not live up to the billing.
Yeah, I would definitely say, I'm going to come right to you so you can comment on that, but I would definitely say right now, the way it looks, like I said, Xavier Leggett is wide receiver 5. Everybody wants to keep hollering about TMJ. I mentioned it on Move the Chains when we did a recap day 1 through 5, and I keep seeing all of y'all's little, what receivers are going to make it, where they're ranked, and y'all keep trying to put Leggett up there like he's wide receiver 3 or 4. That's not the case. It's not the case. TMJ has had a far better camp than him. Jonathan Mingo has had a far better camp than him. Adam Thielen, only 1,000-yard receiver that we had on the roster last year. He's not going nowhere. I don't know where that narrative started because I've been seeing a lot of people saying that Adam Thielen could potentially be on the bubble. He's not going nowhere.
Just go to camp. I didn't see him drop a ball today.
He didn't drop a ball at all.
He didn't even bobble the ball.
Yes, everything is extremely tight. Everything is extremely secure. Adam Thielen is not going nowhere. And your wide receiver number 1, Deontay Johnson, is a lock. So I don't know where this narrative is coming from, why people keep trying to force TMJ down the list. I understand it's cool. People are in our bad graces with us. When you look at Miles Sanders, you look at Jonathan Mingo and how he struggled last year. Look at TMJ and what he's been through over the last 3 or 4 years. But it's not the case. It's not the case. Stop creating false narratives because it's not the case. Xavier Leggett has struggled this camp. And right at this very moment in time, Xavier Leggett, if they were only going to keep 5 receivers, he would be wide receiver number 5. And I'm not trying to create a narrative like we would be dumb enough to cut him, but I'm just telling y'all the reality of the situation. I would damn near I would damn near put Jalen Coker above Xavier Legette based on what I've seen in camp this year.
And
1,000% facts.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that
facts.
because that was the player for me today that absolutely jumped out. And I wanted eyes on him every rep that he had because he won almost every single rep that I watched of him today. Unfortunately, Plummer missed him multiple times. But I mean, that kid is fast. He's quick. He runs very crisp routes.
Footwork is out of this world.
Looks good. Body control on that was him that made that impressive catch on the sideline today.
Yes.
I mean, he made some very impressive catches when the ball actually did find its way to him. That guy, when he gets the ball in his hands, he looks like he was shot out of a cannon.
And to circle back around the XL, what I was thinking today, like the whole time watching the practices, I could see him having a rookie season very similar to Jonathan Mingo's rookie season.
I could too.
I could see that. I could see that happening. Not saying it will, but to me, at this point, that's very likely. As you can see, Jonathan Mingo has gotten better. You can tell he put in work during the offseason. Like, you can tell he's been working on his game, and he looks like he'll be very effective this year. It could take X a season to get it right. It could take him a season to get it right. So if that's the case, don't panic. I mean, but I understand. I understand that people are panicking because we went and got him in the first round. So, I mean, I get it, but yeah, he can have a season close to Jonathan Mingo's season last year.
And off of that, what I don't want y'all to do is just think that we slander on XL's name. I don't want that to ever be the narrative. Like, I feel like we've done that a lot on this podcast, and a lot of them I will accept it, and I think everybody on this cast would accept it. TMJ was one of those guys that we've been extremely vocal about. Coming into camp, TMJ was on the bubble. Know what we said about DJ Johnson. Y'all probably heard a lot of good things from coming from the Carolina Panthers camp, specifically with Dave Canales and Davion Clowney. So, there's a couple on our body that I'll take. The XL is not one of those situations, but what I do want y'all to realize is if y'all's expectation is for this guy to come in and automatically be a 1,000-yard receiver, unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he wants to get better because he was one of the first receivers out today.
Absolutely.
He's one of the last receivers to leave. He was working with Bryce and Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson on the far end of the field when practice was over. So there's no doubt that he wants to get better, and I think that he thinks he's not where he should be at this point. So I think he genuinely wants to get better and want to be a better football player. But as of right now, he's just not what we may have expected him to be when we drafted him with the last pick of the first round.
And truthfully, he might not be a good pair for Bryce's playing style, because Bryce seems to thrive with these guys who run these very quick routes, very quick in and out of their breaks. And from everything that I saw of X today, he's not very clean coming out of his breaks. He looks very heavy.
Yeah, it looks like he's running with weights on his feet. I'm not going to lie.
Very heavy when he comes in and out of those breaks. I think X is like a straight line speed type of guy, and Bryce doesn't really seem to be like the big arm gunslinger type of quarterback that would thrive with X.
Still not pushing the ball down the field.
And also, it could be because, if X is more of a, speed down the field, running fades or whatever, it takes time for those routes to develop. Bryce's, I feel like he's quick. He's used to being more the ball.
Quick decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a point guard. That's what they described him as.
Exactly. And if it's going to take that long to run a fade or to run a go, then a lot of the times, you could be open at the top of that route, but by that time the ball is already gone.
Or he's on his backside.
Yeah.
Because the line gave out.
That too, so.
Did y'all feel like, I know, Terrence, you kind of mentioned this earlier, but I kind of wanted you to expound on it. Overall, I think the offensive line has done an okay job, pass pro-wise. Run game. We know what Dave Canales preaches. We know what Dave Canales' theory is as far as it pertains to the offense. Run, pass, run, set up a play-action pass, gadget play here and there. What were you guys' thoughts on the run game? Because I got a lot of stuff to say about that, but I'm probably just going to temper it for right now just so I can wait and see, another week or two of camp. But the run game to me is alarming. But I would love to know what y'all's thoughts are.
Yeah,
sure.
It's not there. And this is only my first day of training camp. So, like you said, this was the worst practice you've seen
by far.
this whole camp. maybe we just came in on a bad day.
Didn't we do that last year too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Same
was
thing.
Bryce's worst day when we. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he had a phenomenal day when we left. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the run game, it wasn't good at all. I mean, there was one run that looked like one run that actually broke loose. That was Raheem Blackshear. Like, that was the only run that it was like, okay, even if they had pads on, I don't think he would have been touched.
Yep.
Like, honestly.
And that's what I say. I said, I'm going to go right back to you. But I said Dylan Johnson complicates things. Y'all slandered me, but Dylan Johnson was getting a lot of reps today. He was getting a lot of reps today immediately, automatically. Damn near was getting more reps than Mike Boone, who's been there the whole camp, but continue.
Yeah. I think the run game is a problem. Doesn't look good. I don't really know. And I think with this offense, you have to be able to run the ball to set up the pass the way Dave Canales wants to. He knows he wants to be quick with Bryce. He wants to run the quick game, little RPOs, and then have those gadget plays, but in the play action. But before you can have those plays, you have to be able to establish the run. We have to at least be able to get, when we're running the ball, at least 3 to 4 yards. We have to be able to get that. And, I mean, it was a lot of runs that went for negative yards today, a lot of runs that were stopped at the line of scrimmage, a lot of 1-yard runs. So that's a problem, and that's something that has to be fixed now. And we also don't have that running back that when they get stopped in the backfield or when the line breaks down that can really make their own play. We expect that to be Dylan Brooks or Jonathan Brooks, excuse me.
I made a mistake too.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks, if he can get on the field. Like, I guess that's kind of what we expect that to be, who we expect that to be, but that's just not what we have in a Chuba Hubbard and a Miles Sanders. Raheem Blackshear, he's more of a speed guy. I mean, he could possibly do it, but he's not going to be in the game a lot to really make those decisions. So
Hot plays.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it doesn't look good for the style of offense that Dave Canales wants to run, or that I believe he wants to run.
I'm going to take a slightly different approach to that just because I thought I did see a little bit more production than I guess you guys saw today with some of the runs. Now, there were a few that definitely got stuffed right at the line. But there was also a few runs like that would have taken at least 4, 5, 6 yard chunks out at a time. And then I think they didn't have pads on, so it was kind of hard for the O-line to get their hands on anybody and create any run lanes. But I think the one time that they did on that play that you referred to earlier with the Raheem Blackshear, I believe they were in single back, took the handoff off the right side, went between the guard and the tackle, I want to say. And, I mean, that opened up like the Red Sea, and Raheem just banged his head on the goalpost. I mean, wasn't looking back. Nobody on the defense could touch him. I think there's that potential in this offense as well. I think we got to see that a little bit more with pads. I'm going to hold off on my judgment on the run game just at least another day until I can see them in some pads, because I did see a little bit of what looked like it could be some production. Along with the route concepts that Canales was running, I think there's a good little mix between those run play setups going into the pass plays that Canales wants to set up, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of crossers, like a lot of layered crossers that are going to leave guys wide open. And if the O-line can create a little bit of time and the quarterbacks can hit their mark, we're going to have somewhat of an explosive offense this year for sure. You can definitely see that starting to take shape on the good notes that happened today at practice.
Sure. Defensively, what did you guys see? I know, I mean, we spent, the first 10 or 15 minutes on the defensive backs in particular, but as far as like good, bad, just throughout the defense as a whole, how did you guys feel about that?
It was kind of hard for me to make a good judgment on the defensive side, just because, one, they were on the far side of the field as well. And I feel like it was more of an offense-heavy day today for some reason. At least that's what I seen. I can't really if I had to go based on the offense not really being able to move the ball as far as in the run game, then, that would kind of have to correlate with the defense look pretty solid, at least that front end. I think the front end looked
front seven has looked great this training camp to me.
Yeah, the front seven, that was the bright spot in the defense. That secondary, I mean, Lord help them. But and maybe that's because JC wasn't on the field. Who knows? But yeah, I can't really say much about the defense. I just need to see them in pads. I need to see them in pads.
Yeah, I think as it goes to the defense, if I had to say a group that won the day today, I would say it was the wide receivers. So I don't think that bodes well for the defense, because those guys were running wide open all day. I mean, JT was making plays left and right today.
That was in pass scale too, though.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really make no. I don't know if he made any plays in full team, but in 7-on-7 he did.
He caught a ball. He might have caught 2 passes in full team.
The quick ones.
Yeah, the
quick
quick.
little.
He made some
yes,
quick.
okay,
Yeah,
understood.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it was really hard to truly gauge the defense today because Plummer took a lot of reps, and he took. I think he took more reps than Bryce today.
He did.
If I'm being completely
That's
honest, he
by far.
definitely
That's
was on
'cause
the field way too much.
Yeah, that's what I was not to cut you off, but that's why I was telling you, like, being that we only have 2 quarterbacks right now because Andy Dalton is down, like, Jake Plummer is automatically Jack Plummer is gonna take that second and third offense because, like, you don't want Bryce out there taking every single snap. So I think that's why he had majority of the snaps.
Yeah, and because of that, it was really hard to read the defense because Jack missed his mark far too often today. At first, he looked like he was going to be sharp. He came out, was slinging it, no pressure, obviously, no nothing. They were doing their little target practice. He had some of the better throws of the bunch because Andy was out there throwing today, and he had better throws than Andy and Bryce with no pressure to the targets. However, when live action came and guys were moving and we were moving at, I would say, about 85% speed, Jack had trouble finding his mark consistently. So it was really hard to get a read on, what the defense was truly doing in the secondary because they didn't have to do much. You could have left those guys open and Jake might have missed them.
Yeah. Did offense score a touchdown besides the Raheem Blackshear touchdown that we assumed is a touchdown?
David Moore.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, David Moore scored.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
He had a pass down the field.
Okay, cool.
I think Jack Plummer might have threw that ball.
Yeah. I just didn't know because I
think
just
he did.
didn't.
Yeah, he did.
See, I don't even know if I remember that play. I remember him catching a ball, but I don't know. I didn't remember the result.
It was towards the back of the end zone, like kind of right towards the middle, closer to the right side, right corner.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, over the top.
Got you. Okay.
That was a good throw.
It was.
Yeah, that was a
Give him
good throw.
That was a good throw.
I what I didn't know for a fact was that if I had to say what side of the football won today, I would say defense won. That's something that I've been doing. Move to change. It's just who won the day today. I think defense won today because to me, offense looked very, very stagnant. I know you said there was a couple of runs that you were, could see how it plays into the scheme overall, but there were also a lot of runs that, like, okay, if we go 1st and 10 and they get 3 or 4 yards quickly on second down, that shit goes back to 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9 to me. So just based off of that, I had defense winning the day, but like in that same breath, nothing really impressive. Jadeveon looked good. Jadeveon has looked good every single camp, every single practice day to me, personally. I don't think Jadeveon has had a bad day. And I think he's been setting the tone on that defense. And like I said, that combination with him and Derek Brown is deadly because Derek Brown was cooking today too. He was cooking today too. So D-line is what I'm excited to see what that D-line ultimately comes together as, I guess you could say, just because I think that my expectation was so low for our D-line with you only having Jadeveon Clowney and you trying to mix and match pieces to put on the other side of them, which a lot of people, like I said, Jadeveon, Dave Canales, they've been vocal about DJ Johnson. I still feel the same way I do. I ain't seen nothing crazy from him. Same thing with Kaylavon Chason. Ain't seen nothing crazy from him. Obviously, we haven't seen DJ Wanham. Amari Barno is still down as well. D-line is going to be okay, I think. D-line is going to be okay. I think that a lot of the problems that we have in the secondary, I think a lot of those will be kind of guarded and shielded based on what the D-line is able to do in the run game and what I believe Jadeveon is going to be able to do in the pass game as well.
Yeah, I agree with that to a certain degree. Like, yes, and then it's only going to be so much they can do. Like, if we're being honest, okay, we have Jadeveon Clowney, but, I mean, we have DJ Wanham or DJ Johnson on the other side. So, are we going to be expecting Jadeveon Clowney to get home every time? No, not realistically. So, I think that I don't know if that's going to be able to shield that secondary. I really do think they look bad. Like, I'm not going to lie, they look bad. They look very, very bad. And so, yeah, I mean, I like the way the D-line looks, but, I mean, this league is filled with wide receiver talent. Like, it's filled with wide receiver talent. It's filled with speed. And that doesn't match up well with the current cornerbacks that we have on the roster. I can promise you they're going to get beat and beat and beat, and when they get back up, they're going to get beat and beat again. Like, it's going to
But not JC, though, correct? Well, you didn't really see JC.
I mean, he hasn't played. Like, I didn't see him on the field. I seen him warming up, but I haven't seen him on the field. Like, I'm legit scared for that cornerback room. I don't think it's going to be good.
But not safeties. Because when we say secondary, because we kind of group them together, I think our safeties will be solid. Jordan Fuller and X, I think we're good on that front as well. I've seen a lot of things that I love from Nick Scott. Y'all know already how I feel about Alexander Cook, so I think you have a little bit of depth within the safety room. But cornerbacks, yes, I would second that.
The safeties are going to have to work overtime.
Yeah,
like, they're going to have to work overtime.
I think so. And off of that, I mentioned JC because the other day JC was getting torched. By Thielen, by Deontay, by John. JC was getting torched. So it's almost like a global problem. It's cornerback 1 through 6.
This will be a zone heavy team this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have no choice. You almost have no choice but to play zone.
You're not leaving any one of them on the island.
No.
But JC.
And even JC.
If JC is getting beat by Adam Thielen, I have cause for pause to leave him on the island.
And that's exactly why I said even JC. If you're getting beat by a 40-year-old Adam Thielen.
Well, if I had to leave somebody on the island,
JC.
it would have to be JC, knowing that
sure.
he has safety help over the top.
Yeah.
But none of those other guys, I don't need to see them in man coverage.
Better not be Anthony Brown. I'll tell you that much. Because that's going to be a penalty
He
at
might-
the spot.
he
50
might-
yards downfield.
Listen, bro, he might come in and turn us up in that secondary.
You know
He
what?
might.
You know what, buddy? I hope he does. For your sake, for your mental health this year, I truly, genuinely hope he does.
So probably about 2 or 3 months ago, we did our record predictions. We went game by game on the schedule. We're not gonna go game by game today because I think when Dalton comes by, we'll probably dive a little bit deeper into that and kind of get his opinions on some of the stuff that he's been seeing.
I can refresh y'all's memories
Yeah,
for
yeah.
what you picked.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
We
want to
had you at 10-7.
Yeah.
7-10. I had 7. Sorry. JJ said that they were going to be 10-7. Terrence said that they were going to be 7-10. I said that they would be 7-10 as well.
And what did you have? What did you have us at? Because I know you did a graphic. 7-10?
And Dylan, our content manager, had them at 7-10 as well.
I want to move us down bare minimum. We're going down 1 game for sure. I damn
agree.
near want to go down 2. I almost want to go down 2. I'm not gonna lie.
5-12.
If I had to go based on what I seen today, this is my first day at camp. I want to move us down 2 games. That could be unfair based on they didn't have any pads. But if you're asking me are you asking me based on what I seen today?
Yes, I'm asking you based on what you've been hearing and what you saw today.
What I've been hearing and seeing isn't matching what I seen today.
Okay.
So let's put that there. So I'm gonna go down 5-12.
And I think I'm actually going to slide right in there with him at 5-12 as well, because again, what I've been seeing and hearing as well did not match up with what the product that was on the field today. This team is in much more of a treacherous situation than the content team and the front office will lead you to believe. There are major holes all over this roster.
10 wins was definitely optimistic. I would definitely say that. That's why I don't have any 10-win bets out there this year, which is something new if we're judging based off of last year. If I was in you guys' position, I completely understand why y'all say 5-12. I get it. I don't know if I'm willing to go that low. I would probably say, I pretty much already said it. 6-11. I know that.
Why are you tapping? What is that?
Oh, my bad. Just because it's nerves. The nerves. We're week 2, and this is how we kick off week 2.
Calm down, bro.
This is how we kick off week 2. No, it's not a calm down because I'm calm. That's the thing that you're not understanding. I'm really calm because really in my head, as I just continue to go back over practice today, I'm really tweaking out. So I'm calm, and that's going to help me stay calm with my anxiety and everything else coupled because y'all were saying 5-12, and I almost can see it. I'm personally not going to go down that low because I've been saying for the first week and some change of camp that it's between 6 and 9 wins, but I can see it. I can definitely see it. I would probably say right at this very second, 7 and 10. Just because I really, I think those wide receivers are going to be a problem, bro. And I think with the fact that we have 8 or 9 that really can be serviceable, like serviceable receivers, I think that that's going to save us in a couple of situations. But it's going to be one of them situations where, like, Bryce Young is going to have to march down the field like he did against Houston. And Bryce Young is going to have a game like he did against Green Bay. Like, it's going to be one of them situations. So that's why I'm really not going to go as far and say 5 and 12. But practice today was horrible. I'm not going – I just can't sugarcoat it. I just can't sugarcoat it. The worst day by far of the summer. I know they had Fan Fest. I know they did their scrimmage on Thursday. So, you know, Dave can kind of be trying to ease them back in with 4 practices in a row, 4 days in a row. I understand. But energy-wise, it was down. Absolutely no thudding. We got guys not finishing reps. We got guys getting attitudes because the ball isn't thrown where it needs to be. Just not a good day. Not a good day today. And it's unfortunate that this is the day that you guys came, but in that same breath, it bodes the question, is this who the Carolina Panthers are? Because we saw a good day and a bad day at training camp last year. Well, we saw a decent day and a bad day at training camp last year, and I think that I was kind of pessimistic when we left camp. I wasn't 2-15 pessimistic, but I was pessimistic nevertheless. And I don't know, based off of what you guys saw today, it was very, very similar to that bad day that I referenced last year. And it's kind of scary. It is kind of scary, I will say. Don't be alarmed, but it is kind of nerve-wracking.
You should be alarmed. Don't lie to the people. They come to us for the truth, the real, the raw, and uncensored. Y'all need to be alarmed.
Yeah, be alarmed.
And you need to be very.
I say don't be alarmed because
worried.
it's practice number 7 and there's 15 total practices.
You need to be alarmed and you need to be very worried. Like, this is not a good football team. This isn't a good football team. We've been going to training camp for 5-6 years now.
Longer for me, but
long time.
Together, yeah.
Long time. I've seen a lot of different Carolina Panthers teams trot on and off that field. This is one of the worst ones. This is one of the worst ones that I've seen trot onto that field, and they were supposed to get better. They were supposed to upgrade. They're not. And
They did.
They're not better. They're not better. They're not better than teams that I've seen in the past.
The receivers are better. So
these are my eyes.
So are the
You can
receivers
say-
better?
The receivers are better. But I already gave them their props. But I'm talking about the team. I said the team is one of the worst teams that I've seen trot onto the field in a long time. And I'm a guy who's been vouching for Bryce Young all off season, being removed from it. But then kind of going in today, a big trend that's been going on with the younger generation is this aura. Like, they just discovered what aura means. Right? And so, like, they've been throwing it around like, oh, this guy doesn't have good aura, or that guy, like, no aura, da-da-da, L aura, woo-doo-woo-doo, right? That's like the new pop catchphrase. But I want to use it right now because Bryce's aura is Jag. Bryce has Jag aura, and you can see it on the field, like, in the way that, like, Bryce, don't get me wrong. He's dedicated. He was, I believe, the first one on the field today at practice.
Yes.
One of the last guys to leave the field. He wants to get better. He has the proper work ethic, lovely family, seems like a good dude and everything, but he's also an NFL quarterback, and he's supposed to be the face of the franchise, and he does not carry himself with the aura of somebody who has that, the magnitude of that title on their shoulders. He kind of seems like, to me, a guy who just wants to go out there, do his job to the best of his ability, which is fine, but doesn't really seem like he brings up the energy or brings up the guys around him. He's going to do what he does at a high, efficient level, and it's up to you to pick up your own energy and do what you got to do at a high and efficient level as well.
Yeah.
And that's not what Cam brought.
And
Cam took the sorriest people and made them seem like superstars. That's the difference in aura.
yeah, I agree. I agree on a lot of those points. I think that because I don't necessarily think there wasn't like a lot of bad throws from Bryce today.
No.
There was just like not like everything was very, it was a lot of short passes and things like that. And yes, I do agree. I think when you're the quarterback, when you're the face of the franchise at this moment, when the energy is low like that, you have to be the one to pick the energy up. And yeah, he definitely wasn't given that today. And nobody was, quite frankly.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't given it the whole camp.
He hasn't given
And
it
I've
at
been
any of the
trying
times
to-
that we've seen him.
Yeah, and I've been trying to chill because I know y'all think I'm jaded. And I will say at times last season and at parts of this offseason I have been. So I've been very, very cognizant to not hone in on Bryce Young as an individual because at times I sound jaded. And right now what I want to do is just take in and receive all information that I can, and then at the end of camp give you guys what I really feel. But at this very, very second, I can't do anything but second what this guy just said. Like, he doesn't have that aura. And the reason why I say it's jaded is because y'all got to understand, bro, I'm 25 years old. So the better part of my life, what I was seeing was Cam Newton. And it's jaded because Cam Newton is one of one. And it's hard to follow a guy's footsteps like that when you had a whole bunch of bridge quarterbacks and you were deemed the next guy, you were deemed the chosen one after somebody with that amount of quote-unquote aura. So it's very hard for me not to be jaded, but I will say everything Tavian just said is correct. Everything Tavian just said is correct. Like, yeah, Cam was taking niggas, excuse my language, Cam was taking guys that were damn near a foot away from being grocery store clerks and taking them to a Super Bowl. Based off of the energy, based off of the aura, based off of his ability, based on him making plays that other quarterbacks just simply couldn't. And I'm not saying that Bryce Young doesn't have that ability, but he doesn't show it enough. And right now, I don't know if this is a Canales thing or if this is just Bryce really trying to hyper-focus on, okay, 2.7 needs to be out. We're not throwing the football down the field enough. So all of these receivers that we're talking about getting open and all of this stuff with the secondary looking subpar, we're still not capitalizing on it. So the problem with the receivers, quote-unquote, not getting open that we had last year, that shit is phenomenal and it's great. But transparently, I don't understand and I don't know if Bryce Young on a consistent basis can make those throws to the open receivers 15 to 23 yards down the football field because I haven't seen it. Y'all see the big plays, and yes, FPFO_podcast on Twitter, damn near, we've been producing every single big play that y'all seen this offseason. We've showed y'all every big play with the exception of the XL scene. I get it. Y'all see that, and it's sexy, and it's exciting because this is what you want to see out of a guy you just took number 1 overall last year, but that's just simply not the story. It's not, and it's very, very frustrating because now I feel like I've created this narrative between me and Bryce where y'all think I really hate the guy when these niggas be on my top because they really feel like I hate the guy. But really, it's not that. It's just the fact that I just know that he is exactly what Tavian just said he is. He's just a guy. And that's where this quote-unquote jadedness comes from. Because I've been at every single camp with the exception of FanFest when offense really was getting abused. One of the biggest problems that I said about offense is that they've started slow every single practice. They've started slow, and Bryce Young has been streaky. So you go to FanFest, you were getting abused, and then you have 2 good drives where they gas it up because Coker made a big play and Jatavion Sanders scored a touchdown. But the reality of the situation is this offense still looks subpar. The running backs still look below average. Bryce Young still looks like a mid-tier game manager. And the problem that you guys were saying was the issue with the receivers not being open, him not having weapons, was addressed. These guys are winning, and the offense still looks subpar. So when we have a conversation, I'll come right to you. So when we have a conversation about Bryce Young and y'all want to be on my top and say I hate him or say that I'm jaded and say that I have to let Cam Newton go, all of this stuff, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. It just has everything to do with what my eyes tell me. And what my eyes tell me is on a day-to-day basis is that Bryce Young is just simply a guy.
And being that is not a bad thing. Like, I don't want y'all to think it's a bad thing. Because Brock Purdy is a guy with Jag energy. You never see Brock Purdy going out there and rah-rah, like rallying the troops, getting guys to, go all around him and everything like that. No, Brock Purdy goes out there, does his job very high and efficient, at a very high level, very efficiently.
Pause. Brock Purdy is just a guy, but Brock Purdy has weapons around him.
And that's exactly what I was about
changers.
to say. But Brock Purdy has guys who are game changers around him and who bring that dog and who bring that energy, and that team is loaded with them.
Yes.
That's the difference between where Bryce Young is and where Brock Purdy is and where the 49ers are and where the Panthers are. I know I'm comparing two completely different situations, but these are two guys that I can see very similar play styles in, and that's why I use Brock Purdy as that comparison, because the Panthers are lacking the dogs on the roster to bring up the energy. To iron sharpens iron. There's not enough iron on this roster.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And like you said, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but with the current state that the Carolina Panthers are in, it is a bad thing. And I think that what separates Cam from a lot of other quarterbacks and what separates Cam from Bryce, people forget Cam, he went down to JUCO. So he had to get accustomed to playing with talent that wasn't necessarily NFL talent. Bryce Young,
that wasn't even near his level.
Wasn't even in the thought.
Bryce Young has been at Alabama for 4 years.
And prior to Alabama was at like a big 5A school.
So he's been playing with top tier talent his whole entire life, getting coached by arguably the greatest college football coach in history. So it's like,
and all he had to do was his job.
All he had to do was his job. Because you see all the players that were around him, they're in the NFL thriving.
You don't cattle prod Alabama players. You don't end up at Alabama if you need to be cattle prodded.
Exactly. And so for him to have to come to a team like the Carolina Panthers in the state that we were in when we got them, in the state that we're currently in now, I think that's a big leap for a guy who's been in a position to succeed his whole life. That's a big step for him to take. And right now, he just hasn't taken that step. Not saying that he can't do it, but right now, it's just not there. And I do think that it has a lot to do with the weapons around him as well, but also, like, being the person that he is, he's just not used to those situations. But that's what we need him to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I understand Bryce Young is very passive. I understand he's just a guy that wants to do his job, but certain situations calls for certain personnel. And I've been vocal. I've said that I want Bryce Young to be successful, because if Bryce Young is successful, that means the Carolina Panthers are successful. But I really, really desperately, and this is not an overreaction, I really, really desperately need to see Bryce Young take a significant jump throughout this season. And this is a deeper, darker conversation because now we've kind of left training camp. But right now, through 7 days of camp, I'm still seeing the same Bryce Young. Is his arm strength a little bit better? Yes. Is his ball coming out a lot quicker? Yes. But he's still not making those plays that I expect to see from a number one overall pick. He's not.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I was going to say, like, I can see the progression. I've seen that he's gotten better in areas that he was lacking that last year, but it's still not. If you have to compare him to the quarterbacks in the league, like, you have to compare him to the quarterbacks that were drafted with him, unfortunately, in all prior number one picks. And yeah, he's not taking that step to play like a number one pick.
Right. And to kind of close the book on this, training camp this particular practice is kind of review segment. I think we should title this episode like State of Emergency in Carolina, because I think that's what it is. And this is not an overreaction. This isn't me being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Pessimistic.
Not pessimistic, but like I'm looking for the word definition, like exaggerating. Like, it's just a different way to say exaggerating, I guess. But I'm not trying to like exaggerate or gas this any more than it is. But like what I see, again, being an outsider to the Panthers organization, the guys are too comfortable in Carolina. There's a sense of comfortability within this organization that exists for whatever reason. I don't really know. The whole thing about dogs and demons, again, we talk about it yearly. There's no dogs. There's no demons. Guys are way too comfortable. They're way too happy. There's not enough. There's not a sense of urgency. Like, this doesn't look like a team that just went 2-15. They're not moving around like an organization that just was the absolute worst. And this, I'm not exaggerating. This was the worst organization in the NFL last season. They won 2 games. They won a total of 2 games, and they do not look like they won 2 games last year. They're not moving like they won 2 games.
Facts.
They're not moving like they want to get better. They're not like, there's nothing. There's no pop. There's no aggression. There's nothing. There's nothing on the field right
One
now.
day, though.
One day, cool.
Because there have been days where that hasn't necessarily been the case, and the energy has been good. Specifically, I want to say the first day of pass, the energy was good. The second day of practice, the energy was good. There were guys chatting. There was some
But
fight
think
in
about
there.
what you said. Second day of practice, first day of pads. Of course they're happy the day they get their pads back on. They're playing football again. These guys are football players.
I can tell you why the energy has been like that, and it's kind of reversing into what you said. Like, in theory, you would think we just went 2-15. Like, we have to get better. Like, we were the laughing stock of the NFL. We went 2-15. But in that same breath, you can have guys who are like, I mean, this team just went 2-15. They can't really afford to get rid of me. Like, at this
So
point,
that's where that sense of entitlement comes from.
well, it's because who's coming to Carolina in free agency? There's not really any big-time names coming to Carolina.
So,
Like,
off
so-
of that, do you think that we should – never mind, continue, my bad.
And so it's like, in that same breath, it's like, I mean, they have to – there's not anything – they can't get rid of me. Like, this team is already at the bottom of the barrel, so I feel like I don't really have to really compete for my spot. And that's kind of what I seen today. When you see guys walking, when you see guys – I hate when there's even too much laughing. And you was trying to get on me when ISM was walking to the huddle. You was like, chill. No, you need to be on the hop. Like, you need to be sprinting. Like, why are we walking? The huddle was 20 yards away. And when I was in high school playing football, if we walked to the huddle, everybody running. On the line, everybody running. So, like you said, it is that sense of entitlement. But it's because the team is so bad and has been bad for the past couple of years. It's kind of like that's where we are right now.
But and those are the small details, and like, we're harping on these so hard because these are the little details that are the building blocks to a successful franchise and a successful team. Something as small as when you're done with one workout, when you're done with one segment of practice, and that horn goes off, you sprint to your next, like, you sprint to the next station. You get, even if you're gonna, half of y'all aren't even playing in the next segment. So why can't you just waste a little bit, not even waste, why can't you exert a little bit more energy and get to your spot quickly and maximize the amount of time that you have on the field?
When you don't even have pads on.
Don't have pads on.
Well, that's the tonality of what we're facing right now. I mean, I really don't have I don't have anything else. I just wanted to really hop on here because y'all hadn't gotten a episode of For Panthers Fans Only in a while. Y'all hadn't heard the guys' voices in a while. I saw a couple of y'all getting a bit antsy. Y'all were asking when they were coming back. So, you know, we had to make that happen. Had to get the guys back on. As you can see, if you're from Move the Chains, we didn't go into as much detail with the 3 takeaways and, you know, good, bad, and ugly and everything like that. But you can kind of understand the tone of practice today.
And I just want to let y'all know, still a Carolina Panthers fan. They're dear and true to my heart.
For sure.
So, of course, I'm going to be a little bit emotional when it comes to this team. So, of course, I'm going to be a little bit taken aback when I see that we can't do the simple things as far as hustling. It costs nothing to give. It costs nothing to hustle.
Nothing.
It costs nothing to give some energy.
It's a mentality problem.
Yeah.
And I understand that, you know, Dave Canales is this happy-go-lucky guy and high energy and this and that.
Yeah, and me just being an unbiased observer who spends an unreasonable amount of time on a team that I don't root for, contrary to popular belief, I actually want nothing but success for this organization because it makes my life better. It makes my co-host's life better. I mean, it just makes everything better when the Panthers are thriving and successful. So I want them to be successful, and it pisses me off that I got to keep watching year after year mediocrity. Fucking mediocrity. I went out of my way last night to make sure that I got here. Y'all heard the story to watch fucking mediocrity. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed.
Well, y'all will definitely get another episode from us. Believe Dunk is on the way, or he'll be here soon. So, not sure when we'll release that, but you guys are gonna get this probably at around 8 p.m. on what is this? August 3rd. August 3rd. Record, produce, upload, reload. We'll be back. Hopefully, actually tomorrow, y'all probably will get another episode. I gotta hit the host. See if she gonna let us stay, and we'll hammer out another episode for Panthers fans only, and then we'll be back to Move the Chains starting on Monday, and if not, then we'll just be at Move the Chains on tomorrow. So,
Appreciate y'all tuning in, though. Happy to be back.
for sure. Welcome back. I'm happy that y'all are here. All of y'all. Welcome. It may be another long year to be a Carolina Panthers fan, man.
Buckle up. Buckle up.
Like, comment, subscribe, turn your bell notification on. Run it up. And we got the giveaway coming in a week. We'll start receiving entries for that. Autograph football, Xavier Leggett, Bryce Young, Deontay Johnson, Dave Canales, etc. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. Follow us on all socials. Click the link below. We'll have it in there. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
I see you so much in my dreams.